Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. We have so many great things happening this week. My head is about to explode. I cannot wait to tell all of you about that. This show is brought to you by Million Kids. Many of you that maybe don't listen to the show regularly, Million Kids, MILLION, millionkids.org is an organization out of the Inland Empire. And we have been combating things like sex trafficking and social media exploitation and child pornography rings. Well, going on 15 years, about 12 right here in the Inland Empire. And we've had the show probably 6, 7 years. And many of you I run into, I know you, you're loyal listeners, and you won't believe what I'm about to tell you, because many of you have supported our efforts in creating a movie called Sextortion, the Hidden Pandemic. Sextortion is a word that is a combination of sex and extortion, and it basically is blackmail with a photo. And the reason I felt so strong about that movie is that for years I have taken calls from some of you, unfortunately, who has a child or a grandchild that maybe went on a video game or they went in a dating site or a chat room and somehow they were lured into sending one of those, well, let's say questionable photos. And the next thing you know, they're being blackmailed and their lives change forever. So it was my dream, it was my passion to create a film for our kids and parents to understand basically how all of this works and where those naked photos go, those nudies go when you hit send. And the movie has been almost 3 years in the making because of the COVID issues and like that. That many of you came forward, invested in Million Kids by donating. And this movie, Sextortion, the Hidden Pandemic, is about to come out. And in fact, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of new information about how you can support it. But what is really exciting to me is a good friend of mine has offered to work through Saddleback. Her name is Kathie Perino, and she's on the air with us today. She is a volunteer leader for the anti-human trafficking group, the outreach group for Saddleback Church down in Orange County. And she has done the work that it takes to help us have a live premiere on September 18th. That's a Sunday afternoon on September 18th. I want you to circle your calendar, bring all your friends. So with that, I want to introduce my guest today, Kathie Perino. Kathie, you want to say hello?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. This is a real honor.
It's exciting. You and I have been friends for a long time, and I
Yes.
couldn't wait to have this happen. So when you helped us open the doors with Saddleback, I'm just thrilled. Kathie, tell me a little bit about Saddleback Church for those that, first of all, let me say to all of those that are listening, we have many, many good churches here in the Inland Empire, and we love you all. But as it turned out, we only had a chance to do 2 premieres in Southern California. One of them is at USC, and that's pretty well sold out. I think that one's on the 15th. So when Kathie came to me and said, I think we can arrange this, I just jumped at it. So Kathie, tell us a little bit about Saddleback Church and the event that you're putting together.
Well, I have to start out by saying it's a huge answer to prayer for me, too, and for our team. So thank you for even asking us. But Saddleback Church it's one of the largest in the country. There are 14 locations in Southern California, and the average weekly attendance is about 30,000.
Whoa.
And it's been in existence 43 years, started by Pastor Rick Warren, who wrote the book Purpose Driven Life that went viral. And we have 4 international campuses, one in Hong Kong, one in Berlin, one in Philippines, and one in Buenos Aires.
Wow.
And there are over 500 ministries, and every need that you can think of is addressed here. And there are volunteers and there are staff members that are just ready and waiting to help people. One of the most active was our food distribution during the pandemic.
Yeah.
We would have 300-400 cars coming, and we had amazing donations and a huge warehouse that stored the food and so many volunteers, and it was a huge success, and it's still going. But the categories for our ministries, there's so many. There's support groups, Bible studies for adults and all ages of children and students. There's church operations to help people when they're at church, local community service, which is what we fall under, and care and support as well. Any kind of support group, any kind of disease or any kind of bad situation, very challenging situation, there is a support group for it. Sports, exercise, physical health, and then the national and global missions, which is now going again. It was shut down for a while. And Pastor Rick started the Peace Plan, and it's PEACE. It means plant churches, equip servant leaders, assist the poor, and care for the sick, and educate the next generation. So that's what we're about.
Well, I'll tell you what, educating the next generation grabs my heart, because that is really the key in fighting sextortion. And so I appreciate the fact that you're going to open your doors on the 18th and allow anybody and everybody to come and preview this film. This film has really, really been a work of it's been a long, hard road. I don't know how else to say it. It's almost, I was thinking this morning, it's kind of like crawling up a mountain on your knees to get this thing together, especially during COVID and trying to raise the money and now to get the money together to get this out in distribution. So the fact that you're holding this premiere is just amazing. I want to get started now with Kathie to talk a little bit about the premiere, how it's being put together, who can come, what they need to do to find out about it.
Sure. There are two ways. You can go on saddleback.com and you go to the events page, and there's different categories, and just scroll down to the events page and you click on that. And then you will scroll down, and there are so many events of the different campuses. You need to scroll a bit to get to September 18th, and you can click on, and it'll say social media, new documentary about social media safety. And you click on that, and then you can register there through Saddleback, and it's free. There's no cost to it. It's just we need to know how many seats to have available. Or you can go on Eventbrite, and it's sextortionfilm.com, or you can go on the website sextortionfilm.com itself and see the trailer, and then you can sign up there.
That's right. And I think we also have a link over at millionkids.org for what it's worth, not .com. That's that rock band, millionkids.org, so that we can connect. Well, I'm very excited about the fact that you're putting together a premiere for us, and you don't have to register at Eventbrite. You can come just by, showing up. But I'm really hoping that churches will bring their women's groups, their youth group. We are asking no one under the age of 13. Now, we're not going to, throw anybody out, but it's a pretty straightforward movie about a very difficult subject. So we want to honor that. But I'm very, very grateful for Kathie, because she has operated the human trafficking outreach over at that church. And many of your churches that are listening have human trafficking outreach. The reason why both Kathie and myself feel strongly about this movie is that, in fact, what happens is that once a kid gets violated online, they change their self-image, and it makes them so much more vulnerable to become victims of trafficking. So how many people do you think can be held in this particular premiere? I think you and I were talking about 200, 300, something like that.
Well, it's in our largest tent, which is a huge answer to prayer. Yes. We hold up to 700 people.
Oh, wonderful. Well, let's fill up that room. This is a chance for so many people to understand this crime and go back to their own church, their own organization, their own seroptimus, their own sorority, and be able to craft solutions for it. And that's why I think it is so important, because I myself have spoken to a lot of your organizations out there. And this kind of crime of sextortion is going to take each and every one of us and a lot of your organizations to do education and support it. So our guest today is Kathie Perino. She is the volunteer leader. She's an old friend of mine, by the way, a young friend, but I've had her for a long time as my friend anyway. And she leads and heads up the anti-trafficking outreach over at Saddleback. We will be holding the premiere at the Saddleback in Lake Forest. So I want to bring that up. It's September 18th at 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. What a great outing for a chance for you to go by the beach. We're up against that break, folks, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of eating at the same old restaurants? Let me tell you about a fabulous Italian restaurant we found in Riverside, Mamma Mia's Italian Restaurant. Their caprese salad is exquisite with candied balsamic glaze. All of their sauces are special recipes using only the best olive oils. The salads are fresh and healthy. They offer a wonderful array of pastas, including shrimp scampi, capellini, bolognese, and lasagna. They're famous for their gourmet pizza, and you can order online for takeout or have a special date for dining in with family and friends. Mamma Mia's caters special occasions and hosts private events. You have to try it out. Mamma Mia's Italian Restaurant, located at 10971 Magnolia Avenue in Riverside, 1 block north of La Sierra on Magnolia. That's Mamma Mia's in Riverside. Be sure to tell Michael, Alex, or Joseph you heard it on AM 590 The Answer.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited, Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.meandkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited, Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited, Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton. I am your host today, and we have a guest, which is Kathie Perino. She's a volunteer leader for the anti-human trafficking outreach of Saddleback, and we are having that premiere at Saddleback on September 18th. You do not have to go to Saddleback Church to be able to attend. In fact, we are asking you all over Southern California to come and attend and support this movie because we want to get it out on streaming devices all over the world. So Kathie and I were talking at break that one of the things I wanted to bring up is actually what the crime of sextortion is and how it happens and why this movie is so important in educating. So with that, Kathie, can you tell me some of your experience with sextortion cases or your outreach in combating that?
Oh, yes. We've gotten calls. We've had, over the years, I've been involved since 2010, and we've been involved with rescues, emergency aftercare of ladies that have been rescued off the streets through LA County detectives. But I've been getting calls lately of one grandmother called that I know very well. She's a beautiful Christian, very Bible study leader. And she texted me, she said, I need your help. My granddaughter was just caught doing a strip show on a certain social media site.
Yep,
and
happens.
a relative saw it. And so I immediately sent her your information, and I sent her tried to find the local at the law enforcement with where they live. It was out of state. But this is happening. And then there was another call that came in of a little girl who was on her computer in her room, and the predator saw the doorway to a bathroom. She has her own private bathroom. So they, whoever they were, enticed her to do a bath time game, who could take off their pajamas the fastest. And so the bathroom humor, these younger kids, they don't understand what's going on.
Right.
Another girl has a trauma background, and so she ended up doing these nudes at the age of 14 and hopped the fence when one guy said he wanted to meet her, and she hopped the fence in her gated community. And at that point, there was a mix-up. They didn't pick her up, but about a week later, the police ended up finding her in a neighboring city.
Yeah, that is one of the reasons I feel so strong about making sure everybody understands this crime and understands what it looks like in your own life, because the statistics are that 58% of kids who are being blackmailed will literally sneak out of the house and disappear to try to get that photo back. And so as I understand this, as Kathie Perino has understood it, we've said the message has to be clear to parents and grandparents, especially, and teenagers, how this works and how it's going to end up. So one of the things you said, Kathie, that I just know so clearly in my heart is, so many times you get into a sex trafficking victim and it's kids that are like foster kids, homeless, runaway, or kids playing on dating sites. The sextortion, the smartest kid, from the most successful family, the kid that the parent would never think is doing this, gets kind of caught up in it. Is that your experience?
Oh, yes. Yeah. There was a lady in one of the most wealthy areas of Orange County, came to one of our meetings, and she said that she had caught her daughter, on her iMac computer in her room, finished her homework, and was online with someone who wanted to meet up with her at the nearby shopping center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The problem with sextortion is there are many different ways it takes place. And that's why it's so important for people to see this movie, because every kid I've ever met thinks it'll never happen to them. And yet they don't know who they're talking to on the other end. In some cases, they're, large rings out of the Philippines or out of one of them recently was the Ivory Coast. And in other cases, it's like some pervert down the street that's trying to lure your child in. And they normally would never pick up with them. But the next thing you know, they're going out to meet online because they've got seduced in. And that's why I love Saddleback. You're all about supporting families. And this is a way for churches to really get involved in supporting. So with that, talk a little bit about the work that Saddleback does in supporting families this way.
Well, it's with COVID, it's kind of slowed down a little bit as far as getting the word out to everybody. And thanks to you and this film coming, it's back up again. We're up and running. What we've done in the meantime is we have two volunteer leaders who are very talented, and Cindy Olivier and Janet Corrette, and we've been serving survivors who have been out of the life a long time and giving them a retreat and a Christmas party. And so that's been our way. So thanks to you, we're online. We're back online. We had a man, Clay Cranford. His website is cybersafetycop.com.
Oh, I love Clay. He's wonderful.
Yes. He came and spoke, and we also had you, Opal, and we were just so excited to have you there too. But Clay gives a very good curriculum and a very good guidelines for parents giving kids their cell phones. So if you want to look at that, cybersafetycop.com, and that's another resource.
Yes, it is. Well, one of the things I wanted to do here is kind of give the parents some idea of how all of this takes place. And when I talk with kids, which I still do in my old age, but, the thing that I really want people to know is the first sign that your kid is talking to someone that maybe doesn't want good for them is they will move them from one app to the other. And they'll start sending them questionable photos and expect photos back. They start asking a lot of questions and your kid is doing all the answering. So they're at a disadvantage in there. Or the number one thing I tell kids, if they tell you don't tell, you run for your life. Would you agree with that, Kathie?
Oh, absolutely. An example of that is this was told by a LA County detective. A young girl met a really handsome, quote unquote, boy on social media. And after a few months of nice words and compliments, he said, let's meet up. And she said, well, my parents won't let me. And he says, well, let's meet me at McDonald's. And he said, what time do they go to bed? And she said, about 10. He goes, well, then meet me at 10:30. So she shows up at a Los Angeles McDonald's at 10:30, and she's sitting there, and a middle-aged man came in from behind her, grabbed her by the ponytail, pulled her up, and out the door they went. And the witnesses was her father, that she was in trouble. And so no one really reported it as being anything strange, but we don't know the outcome of that. That's one of their cases. So that it happens.
Yeah. That's the first message that has to happen with our kids is never, never, never go out and meet up with someone that you met online. So many of these kids just sneak out. They just want to meet them to see what they look like. And they don't realize once they're there, that person will grab their phone, throw it out the door, take a gun, and you'll end up being raped or disappearing. And it happens, and it happens in many, many of these cases. The other one that worries me is they start into self-harm, and that's a big red flag for mom and dad. You have a daughter, especially, that's starting to cut, or a son that has changed his personality. Those are huge red flags that, churches and church leaders and, your various organizations, you have to be trained on this to understand it so that you can help the people in your church. This is not a one-off kind of thing. Every kid in your church needs to understand how sextortion takes place. That's why Kathie is helping us hold this over here. So, but you, at Saddleback, you actually have counselors in your area, right? For those areas?
We have a wonderful counseling department within Saddleback, and we have some trauma-informed life coaches that are part of our ministry team. And surprisingly, it's a little bit scarce. We need more. So if that's something that any of our listeners do, and for your own church or for Saddleback, we would welcome you. But it's trauma-informed is very important because we sometimes tend to victim blame, and we don't want to do that. These kids are falling into something they don't understand.
Well, and I think every church leader and anybody that does counseling within a church needs to see this movie and understand this crime from my point of view, because it is happening with people in your church, I reassure you. Well, we're coming up against that break. Our guest today is Kathie Perino. She is the volunteer leader of the Anti-Human Trafficking Outreach Organization over at Saddleback Church. They are holding a premiere to show our movie, and it'll be your one shot to see it on September 18th. So stay with us. We're going to be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton. I need to clean up a last comment I made on there. This isn't your only shot to see it, but this is your only shot to see it in person before we can at some point get it into the movie theaters, we hope, or at least on a very large live screaming, how do you like that? Live streaming service. So what is going to happen here is several things. We're having this premiere. We're having one at USC. That's because I'm an instructor over there. That one is on Wednesday night, and it's pretty well sold out. I don't think they're taking, let me look, the 15th. I don't think they're taking any more reservations. It's pretty well sold out. But Kathie Perino, our guest today, has worked with Saddleback out of the Lake Forest group on September 18th on a Sunday at 4 o'clock. We have plenty of room for people. We're asking you to sign up at their Eventbrite or at their website now, and you will be able to attend in person. And I guarantee you, you will go back to your church, your organization on fire to make sure everybody gets to see this. The other thing that is happening is we're getting ready to make it so that you can pre-order it through iTunes or through Vimeo. And if you'll follow us at millionkids.org, you'll be hearing about that. But what I want to do is fill every seat at Saddleback. So again, Kathie, how do they get it off the Saddleback site and learn about it, or be able to sign up through events page? I know we're going to link to you at millionkids.org, but how do they find that at your site?
They go to saddleback.com. And I forgot to mention earlier, you want to click on the Lake Forest campus. That's our main campus.
Yes.
And that's where the event will be. And it's going to be in tent 3. That's the largest tent. You can't miss it. The upper parking lot there. But anyway, so you go on saddleback.com, and then you scroll down to the events section, and then when that opens up, you scroll down to September 18th. There are a lot of different events going on at the different campuses, so you have to go down there to the 18th, and it'll get shorter as we get closer to the 18th. And then you click on that, and there's a link to register. And if you want to go on Eventbrite, you can, or sextortionfilm.com, you can also see the trailer.
Yeah, and at millionkids.com, we link over to that trailer. Oh, excuse me, I messed that up. It's millionkids.org. That's that darn rock band again. There I go. Anyway, millionkids.org, and link over to it too. So, well, Kathie and I were talking about the crime of sextortion. So many of us do not realize how prolific it is. But National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which takes the leads on these cases, processed 29.3 million potential cases of kids who have gotten some sort of illicit photo out there and they're being blackmailed. That's 80,000 a day. So if you don't think this is a pandemic, we need to wake up and help you understand how this is going. So Kathie, share with me a little bit the thing that I believe it's because technology is getting more and more complicated. Less parents see it, but more kids have access to total strangers by using technology. Is that what you're finding in the cases that you see there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They, and someone who, as in the documentary, you'll see they pose as someone else. They pose as this cute boy that looks like a lifeguard or somewhere else, and they fool them, and they're very smart. They know exactly what to say, yes. And they'll follow the profile of a child who's maybe having a hard time, and they're venting their frustrations out on Instagram or whatever. These, I don't want to name one because they're all equal, but and then they pick up on that and they say, well, what do you like to do? Oh, me too. And what do you, your parents, you're fighting with your parents. Oh, me too. I'll be there for you. And they tell them what they want to hear, and they make them feel really good. inside. And like Opal said, that's one of the first things, a lot of questions and a lot of agreements.
Right.
And so, yes.
Yeah, our kids are sitting ducks if we put them out there online and we don't explain how all of this works. If you think about an app like TikTok, I had a lady tell me, well, her 11-year-old daughter had 1 million followers. That's not that many anymore. A lot of them will have 5 million. It's all about being an influencer. But if you have 1 million followers, at least 1% of them are pedophiles. And that's 10,000 people that your child is going to have to stand against. And that's why we wanted the movie Sextortion, so that your child understands how this blackmail takes place and help them overcome that denial of this won't happen to me. In the movie, they show the case of Daniel Harris, who was a Top Gun pilot. And he was married with kids, a gorgeous wife, and very successful. And he was blackmailing girls all over the world. And I think kids need to see that. Is that the kind of things, the cases that you're encountering over there? And I think that you see as many of those kinds of cases as I do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They go on. And another thing is the video games.
Mm-hmm.
There's these kids get on there, and this is boys as well, and they flash little porn. They'll
Yep.
and it's not illegal to put on animated porn.
Right.
So there'll be a little sex act in this video game that they're playing, and a lot of violence too that goes on this Fortnite. Just a lot of violence.
Right.
And so anyway, they flash these little things that will grab their attention and then get them sexually, started, and then they continue, and it just, they feel like it's okay. And they're just them in their room, and they're taking pictures of themselves. You show me yours and I'll show you mine. And
or they live stream and forget it works both ways.
Yes.
That isn't funny, but it does happen,
But back in our day, I'm 66, and technology was the big thing was to have a phone in your room, and all it was an extension of the phone the phone line everybody else has, and your parents could pick it up at any moment and listen in.
Yeah, I just feel like this is one of the greatest missions of all time, is to prepare our kids to live in a world without borders and a home without walls, and to understand what that means. It redefines relationships and like that. So one more time, I kind of want to take it back to this premiere. The premiere is important to me, obviously, because I did the film and I wanted everybody to see it. But it's important to people, church leaders, and I give credit to Saddleback for taking a lead on this. You kind of say why this is so important that you have been able to support this particular project.
Well, we have another kind of a connected ministry. It's called the Initiative for Vulnerable Children, and it comes out of a program from Texas Christian University, the Karen Purvis Child Development Center, and they support foster and adopted families. And I've met the most incredible families, incredible people who are fostering many kids and then adopting them. And it's been incredible. So it's important for that group, and it's important for all the teenagers, the high school, the college ministries, the junior high, and some of the kids in some challenging situations. There's a support group for that. And I got to come and talk with the kids, and it turned out that these kids are acknowledging they are having trouble with their families, or an addiction problem, or depression, or whatever. And it's part of Celebrate Recovery. That's one of our signature ministries here for recovery. And then, one girl, after the talk, she realized that there was someone following her on one of the apps, and one of the staff people helped her block that person and erase all the things. And she had not yet done anything that would be blackmail material, but she was headed that way.
Yeah, I think that's the value of the Sextortion film. So many times I've gone out and spoke, and a kid will come up to me. What you were saying reminded me of a girl quite a long time ago, and she came, and it was right in the middle of a beautiful church. and churches don't realize the power they have to influence these kids. And they allowed me to speak at their youth group. And this girl came up to me and said, I've been just having fun talking to this guy in Alaska that's 28, but maybe I shouldn't be doing that, huh? And I was so impressed because I thought, had we not been there that day, had they not heard that message, that could be another girl that's disappeared.
Yes.
My experience is if you talk with kids, they listen, and that's the value of this film. But we have to get through to the parents also to get them out of their world of denial and understand how this crime works so that they can prepare their kids to stand against it. My name is Opal Singleton. Our guest is Kathie Perino from Saddleback, and we are up against that break, so we'll be right back.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.
AM 590. The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This show is brought to you by millionkids.org, MILLION, millionkids.org. If you do not follow us at this point, for Pete's sake, go on and sign up and follow us. We have so much education to give to you as parents and as grandparents and as community leaders, as faith-based leaders. We have lots of resources on our website at millionkids.org. Sign up for our insider alerts so we can train you and like that. And be sure and stay in tune to follow this movie, because this movie, I think, is a life-changing movie. I was talking to Kathie Perino, our guest today from Saddleback, and she has seen the movie. It was at the Santa Barbara Film Festival, and she came up there and seen the movie. So, give us some of your perspective on what you saw at the movie there.
Yeah, I've so privileged to have seen it. And what I love about it is the three angles that it covers. And there's so many good ones out there, but I love the three dimensions it gives. You get the story, the true story of this predator, which is a surprising story, as you mentioned. And then it goes the perspective of the victims and the survivors in different little bit different situations, but all the same. They are all into the sextortion. But what I was most impressed with too was the investigators and how much they care and what the work they do. And it takes hours and hours and hours. And human trafficking cases take a lot more man hours than any of them, because these guys are cagey and they know how to circumvent everything. So the investigators in this movie that are interviewed, and I guess it was psychologists as well, really, really let you know how much our government is trying to stop this and how much they care. And there is hope with law enforcement like that.
Right. That was so important to me. Million Kids is one of the executive producers of this film, for what it's worth. And many of you listening may have contributed to the support of this film. And hopefully you'll continue to contribute, because a film in a can is useless if we don't get this out to everybody. So, but one of the things that was really important to me is that it's an action film. I did not want a thou shalt not. Kids will not listen to that. They need to see the reality of this. And literally, what I wanted was kind of an axe between the eye moment, one of those that just kind of wakes you up and goes, oh my gosh, I never really understood how all this worked. And I believe that movie does that. It is an action movie. It's a movie that kids will love to see. But I also think it tells you the damage that it does to a child when they find themselves victimized. And I think that that's one of the things that was important. I agree with you, Kathie, about the other thing. This film was filmed at Homeland Security, inside Homeland Security. And Homeland Security has an ICAC unit, Internet Crimes Against Children's unit. And they show you what it's like to investigate child sex crimes. But they also show you the damage that it does to a kid for the rest of their life. And that's the kind of thing that Saddleback has been combating for a long time, is doing that interception and helping those victims. So one more time, talk about, Saddleback, how to sign up for it, but more important, what kinds of services that Saddleback is doing here to help families.
Well, what we've been doing, like I mentioned before, we're a team. We have 800 people on our list of volunteers, and they donate and they participate in events. And our communications leader, Cindy Olivier, sends out all sorts of event, things that are coming up and things that are coming up in the community. And Janet Carrete and a team developed a DVD that we're taking to the small groups in the homes and letting people know about human trafficking. And sextortion is now top of the list. We are going to be telling everybody about sextortion. Thanks to you, Opal. I know this has been many years coming. I remember you talking about it years ago and trying to develop this. And you are the reason that we're all here. So thank you for what you're doing. But yes, we've been doing a lot of events for ladies who have come out of the life and who are still struggling. But reaching kids, that's our number one goal now. So just staying safe in this crazy world. And there are a lot of things that are coming at kids. So we need to really concentrate on them. So you are our springboard. You are the one that's getting us going.
You're the one that's putting on the premiere. So as we come to the end of this show, let me remind you, first of all, you can go to millionkids.org or to saddleback.com on events page under September 18th, and you can find out how to go. I hope many of you that are listening will take the time to come to the premiere. Now, attend in person, bring all your friends, bring all your organizations together. It will be an eye-opener. I do not believe in going around and wagging fingers at kids. We must empower kids to be leaders, to understand this technology and understand how to prepare the next generation in order to live in a world where they're safe, because they're not going to know the people they are online. So I am thrilled to death to have Saddleback hold a premiere for us on September 18th. I hope you'll join us, and you can write to me if you need more information for any reason. Write to me at opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org. I want to just one more time kind of close out here, if Kathie will kind of give me a little time here. Normally I would be promoting Saddleback, but I want you to understand, Mom and Dad, keep your eyes out with your kids. Is their behavior changed? Are they suddenly very private? Are they starting to sneak out? Are they starting to hide social media so that you can't see it? Maybe they're anxious. Maybe they're not able to sleep. Maybe they change their school attendance, because the first thing that will happen when someone gets one of those photos is they'll threaten to blackmail them at school. Their eating habits may change on there. They may start cutting. If you have a child that's doing self-harm, get them help immediately. And in the meantime, let's do prevention and intervention. And that's the purpose of the premiere at Saddleback on the 18th of September. You will also be able to pre-order this before October 4th, and we will have the link at millionkids.org. It'll be about $10. You'll be able to pre-order it through your Apple store, your iStore kind of thing. You'll also be able to order it through the Vimeo. But we are asking for people to get together, pre-order it if they can, but come and see it in person. I think Kathie will tell you the first time she saw it, you need to see it in person. You can see the link at millionkids.org, but at the Saddleback event, I think, will be the best. Just in the last minute or two, Kathie, you want to just anything you want to add in there in closing out?
Oh, it's just so important. I just want to reiterate what you said, that the kids really aren't aware, and we parents aren't aware. I wasn't aware of all of this. And it's so important to keep our kids safe and to keep them just, and as a cyber safety cop says, is we parents own those phones. We parents own those computers. We're the ones that pay the bill. So this idea that it belongs to the child and it belongs to them and the privacy of their room, just keep their social media avenues, all of them, away from them in the middle of the night. Keep them, the parents need to really watch what goes on with these kids online.
Well, thank you, Kathie, for coming on. Most important, thank you for arranging the premiere on the 18th at 4:00. I hope that the people in the audience will listen and will consider attending. At the very least, I hope you're willing to go on to millionkids.org. We're going to have the links on there for you to pre-order it. We'll have the trailer on there so that you can see it. I hope that this will become a mission for many of you. You have your own mission field in your church, in your family, in your community, in the schools where your kids go. And this is a message that needs to get out there. By the way, this film is being cut into 10-minute segments, and it will be distributed through NetSmart sometime over the next year throughout the schools. And that has been my life's dream, for what it's worth. Now, I want to just share with you one more thing. We could not be at this point without you. Many of you donated to Million Kids. I'm going to ask you, if you have it in your heart, to donate one more time. We've got to get the money together to do the promotion, to get this so it is a global film. And you can do that by going to millionkids.org. millionkids.org. Hit that donate button or send a check. We don't care. We'll take it. And we so much appreciate you. I'm so grateful that we've reached this point where you're going to see this film. You folks put your arms around your kids and your spouse this week and let them know how proud you are of them. We'll see you next Saturday at 3:00 on AM 590.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the darknet will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.